this video, we'll go through the Bluebook itself, and I'll give you an overview of the structure and some ideas about what parts of the Bluebook you might want to tab or bookmark. So citation manuals like the Bluebook or the Allwood or the Maroon Book, they're reference books like a dictionary or an encyclopedia. And so the Bluebook is fairly thick. It's got a lot of rules in it, but the good news is that you're not going to use all of the Bluebook all the time, and even the parts that you use, you won't need to memorize. Good legal professionals, good conscientious lawyers don't know everything, but they know where everything is. They know how to find it, and they know when to look things up. And so you're just going to get a feel for the structure of the Bluebook, and then you'll be able to use the Bluebook whenever you need it to look something up. So here are the parts of the Bluebook. There's an introduction, there's the Bluepages, there are the rules, tables, and an index. And so the rules that you're going to use most often in your first year are rules 10, 12, 15, and 18 in the main body. Now, the Bluepages are what used to be called the practitioner's notes. The Bluepages amend the general rules in the white pages for practitioner documents. And so the rules in the Bluepages correspond to the rules in the white pages. So Rule 10 in the white pages gives rules for cases, and Rule B10 in the Bluepages gives the amendments for cases for practitioner documents. So my recommendation is that you tab B10. In the Bluepages, the rules span fewer pages. So if you'll just tab B10, you'll be able to quickly get to 12, 15, and 18 from there. And then in the main body, where the rules tend to be more involved, you'll tab 10, 12, 15, and 18, and that will get you to most of the rules that you need, if not all the rules that you need in your first year. The tables, I would tab Table 1, which is the table of jurisdictions, and Table 6, which is the table of abbreviations. And then I would tab the beginning of the index so you can get to it quickly. So the introduction of the Bluebook, it gives a general introduction to legal citation. It explains the structure of the Bluebook. It covers changes from. The next section is the Bluepages. And the Bluepages are for practitioners. And so there's a difference between scholarly works and practical works. Scholarly works are those works written by scholars about the law. Practical works are those works that are created by lawyers in the ordinary course of practicing law. And so originally the Bluebook was meant as a citation guide for scholars, just as citation guides in other disciplines are meant for scholars. But the Bluepages, formerly the practitioner's notes, were added so that the rules could be adjusted for practitioners also. So the Bluepages cover practical works, and so that's probably what you'll use in your first year, because in your first year legal writing course, you will be producing practical works, the types that are produced by practicing lawyers. So the Bluepages are sort of a mini Bluebook. It's a condensation of the white pages and indicates any place where practitioner conventions might differ from scholarly conventions. The changes are primarily of form rather than substance. So for example, typeface. So one example is that large and small caps are used in scholarly citations, but they are not used in practitioner documents. The examples in the main body then are for scholarly works, and the Bluepages follow the numbering of the main pages. So Rule 10 of the main pages is for cases, and B10 of the Bluepages is also for cases. Rule 12 of the white pages is for statutes, and B12 of the Bluepages are the adjustments for statutes. The rules that you'll use most often in the Bluepages are first B10, which, as I said, covers cases. B10.1.1 addresses case names. 10.1.2 is the reporter and pinpoint citation. 10.1.3 is the court and year of decision. And 10.2 is short cites. B12 covers statutes, rules, and regulations. 12.1.1 is federal statutes. 12.1.2 is state statutes. And 12.2 is short forms. In the interactive citation workbook and workstation, there's an exercise on case names. The second exercise is on reporters and pinpoint citations. The third exercise is on the court and year of decision. The fourth is on parallel citations, which isn't here in this list. And the fifth is on short citations. The sixth exercise in the ICW covers federal statutes. The seventh covers state statutes. And the eighth covers statute short forms. And then the ninth exercise is a comprehensive review exercise of those first 8. B11 covers constitutions. B15 and 16 is secondary sources. B17 is court and litigation documents. B18 is sources on the internet. And B5 is quotations and block quotations. And then finally, B2 is typeface conventions. In the scholarly rules in the white pages, there are different citations that call for use of large and small caps. In the Bluepages, none of the citation rules call for large and small caps. There used to be a prohibition on large and small caps in practitioner documents, and now the Bluepages allow for large and small caps for stylistic purposes. I'm not sure what stylistic purposes would be, and so if you're doing the ICW exercises, it never calls for large and small caps in any of the primary exercises. It does on the final exercise, which is an exercise on law review citations. And then finally, B6 covers spacing and abbreviations. It allows you to eliminate space from reporter abbreviations to save space in a document. Most documents that get filed in court, in appellate court, sometimes in trial court, but mostly in appellate court, have specific page limitations. A lot of the assignments that you may draft in your first year legal writing course may have page limitations. Generally, eliminating single spaces from reporter abbreviations is not the best way to meet your page limitations. Usually it's better to find space saving somewhere else. You can usually save a lot more space by writing more clearly and concisely than you can by taking individual spaces from reporter abbreviations. In the interactive citation workbook and workstation, you're instructed that you would never eliminate space in the abbreviations to save space in the document. You're to assume that you have adequate space in all of your documents so you can space according to B6. The rules, the white pages rules, again, these are more specific than the Bluepages. Rules 1 through 9 cover general information like capitalization, use of signals, block quotes, and it's used for all types of citation. Cases, statutes, law review articles, everything is covered by 1.9. Those are just general rules that apply to every kind of source. Rule 10 covers cases. Rule 11, constitutions. Rule 12 is statutes. Rules 15 through 17 are secondary sources. And Rule 18 covers electronic sources. And again, these 10 through 18, these correspond to the Bluepages rule numbers also. There are a number of tables in the back of the book. The primary ones that you'll use will be 1 and 6. And so the tables give lists of helpful information about specific elements of citation. Table 1 gives information about each jurisdiction in the United States. So it starts with the court structure for each jurisdiction. It gives all the names of the courts in that jurisdiction. It gives the reporters in which those courts' opinions are published and the statutory compilations for that jurisdiction. So if you want to know anything about a particular jurisdiction and where the law is published, Table 1 of the Blue Book is a great place to look. Table 6 gives the abbreviations that you'll use to shorten case names and also to shorten law reviews in when you get to the secondary sources exercise. The index is like any other index. It's an alphabetical listing of the topics covered. And so within the index, it is color-coded. Any reference that can be found in the text of the Blue Book will be printed in black. If the information is found in an example, that's entered in blue in the white pages. And so anytime you're not sure where to look, check the index. It'll usually direct you to where you want to go.